Cool. Thanks everybody for joining. Welcome to um, January 2022 Stockton meetup, Stockton REI meetup. Been doing this for almost 2 years now, mostly virtual, but we do have some in-person meetings. So want to thank you for coming today or listening in or watching and being a part of the group. I hope everybody had a great new year. I have a deck that I'm going to share to pretty much outline the meeting here so that we can get started. But in terms of today's agenda, we're going to do introductions and breakout groups. We're going to talk about Stockton in the news, other resources. I'm pretty plugged in with the Stockton community here. I'm born here, raised here, currently live here, and I'm pretty civically engaged and thought to put a lot of the resources that I've seen throughout every outlet that I've been engaged in to help give you a perspective about where Stockton will be in the future. This isn't to be a forecast of where home values go or what cap rates look like, but just to give you an insight about what is happening in the economy here in Stockton and be able to give you some thoughts to where you think the Stockton market will be in the future. We'll also talk about goals. We'll be able to share with each other what our goals were for 2021, as well as what our goals are for 2022 and how we can help each other execute it. And we're going to save the last few minutes for open discussion as well as announcements. So be ready for that one. So we're going to go right into introductions and breakout groups. So what I'll be doing here is assigning the four of you to different breakout groups one-on-one so that we can get to know each other a little bit more. In the introduction with your breakout groups, it'd be great to go over your name, where you're from, where do you invest, how long have you been investing, how many deals you've done, what's the best real estate deal you've done ever done, and what's the worst, and what do you need to grow in your real estate investing so that we can help each other. So I'm going to assign us different breakout groups to talk to each other about this and give introductions to one another, and then we'll come back as a larger group and talk more about this. So I will do that now. Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully everybody got to meet somebody new or hear more about the exciting stuff people have going on in real estate, especially in this area, as well as out of state. We're going to transition over from introductions over to goals. And we're actually going to, I know I jumped in a few breakout rooms and some of you were talking about goals for 2021, but I think goals are super important for us to talk about, especially at the beginning of the year. Setting goals helps trigger new behaviors, helps guide your focus, and helps you sustain that momentum in life. Goals also help align your focus and promote a sense of self-mastery. In the end, you can't manage what you don't measure, and you can't improve upon something that you don't properly manage. And so I want to bring this up to the group so that we can further get to know one another and share our goals so that we stay accountable to ourselves and be able to talk about our goals and execute on them. I know with talking to some of the people in this group, I've been able to actually act upon the goals that I had for 2021 and 2022 by sharing, hey, I'm looking for a deal, or hey, I'm looking for somebody to help me secure this deal, or hey, I need someone to refer me to a lender who can help me get this deal under contract. So I think it's a really great opportunity for us to share and get to know one another and understand what we bring to the table. So I'm going to shuffle the breakout groups once more, and I'm going to send these bullet points, these questions into the chat and have you be able to meet more people as well as share your goals and help each other execute on each other's goals. So we are going to shuffle the groups, and I will be sending out invitations to you all to chat with somebody else. So we will do that now. I will send the invites. Feel free to accept the invites and go from there. Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you got to meet someone new, talk about some cool goals in 2021 as well as 2022. For those of you who are returning to Stockton REI Network, it's a little bit of a different format, but I thought it'd be great suggestion from the group and something to try out. So hopefully you enjoyed all of that. With that being said, I'm gonna hop into Stockton in 2022. Stockton in the news. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, I'm born and raised in Stockton, have several investments here, currently live here, and am pretty civically involved with a lot that goes on in the city. So I thought to summarize what I have been noticing in the city. And also, this is not meant to be me forecasting where property values are going, but it is very much me telling you kind of what I've been noticing has been happening and how it may impact you as an investor in real estate in Stockton. So for this part, it's a little bit of me talking a bit, but please feel free to come off of mute, ask any questions, and I'll do the best I can to answer, but I'm sure somebody else in the group might have something to contribute here. So Stockton in the news. I want to start off here with some recent business openings. Here we'll see Sakura Hibachi grand opening. This is in the Miracle Mile district of Stockton, which is relatively popular, especially with the UOP students who come to University of the Pacific. So this is kind of an indicator of new businesses popping up and more confidence in the neighborhood. Here you'll see Sakura Hibachi is in this red circle in Stockton. It's on Pacific Avenue, which we call Miracle Mile here. With that being said, it's known as a place of really great property values and a really good neighborhood, really good community. It's called the Caldwell Village area, which is south of University of the Pacific, which has, if you've ever driven by there, surprisingly, there are $1 million mansions over in that area. So that's a good indicator of what's going on there. We have the Well, which has come up. It's here circled in the blue area. It's on Central Street, or Center Street. This one's a little bit interesting. So it's a nonprofit co-working space. It's following the same model as WeWork. With that being said, it's really interesting if this one will take off. Like I said, I know the area quite well. I haven't seen too much development and such an increase in property value in this central, almost close to downtown area, but it'll be interesting to see if the Well brings people there. If you know the Stockton area, you know that downtown, there's been a lot of emphasis in terms of revitalizing it and making it very an economic generator for the city. At the same time, it is a large population of where Stockton homeless currently reside, largely because of St. Mary's Dining Hall. So it is kind of a confluence of those different things. So something to look out for, but just want to call attention to that. And again, if you have any questions or have any comments, feel free to come off of mute and let me know. With that being said, perfect segue to what's been happening in downtown Stockton. They have had this minor avenue complete street improvements where they've updated the sidewalks, updated the center divide, added a roundabout. A lot of this is hoping to reduce traffic and kind of increase bicycle and pedestrian use. If you drive by downtown, you'll see it's part of the beautification of it. I think it's great from a cosmetic, from my opinion, I think it's great from a cosmetic perspective, but it's really the city's really trying to bring a lot of economic development and pedestrian business to downtown. Personally, as somebody who's lived here for 31 years, Stockton and a downtown area don't really make sense when you have so much commercial activity being so spread out in such a geographic region. And so this is a part of what's going on in downtown. So if you are an investor in this area, there are implications of the city investing in this downtown area and potentially impacting property values here. I want to talk about San Joaquin Delta College and University of the Pacific really making an initiative here to help with the nursing shortage given the coronavirus. And it has significant implications for rental property investors, home flippers, and real estate agents. So San Joaquin Delta College circled in blue here, University of the Pacific circled in red here. Both are focusing on growing the nursing population. You'll see San Joaquin Delta College revitalizes the 9-week certified nursing assistant program. University of the Pacific launches its first nursing program for students without healthcare backgrounds. I think this is super interesting because the direct implications here for rental property investors here is demand for rentals by students who want to be close to their school so that they can potentially walk there, have a shorter commute. So what does that do? That increases demand for people who are looking for rent, and they're ideally looking for premium rentals so that they can focus on their education. So that may put upward momentum towards the rental rates in this area. Full disclosure, I actually have rentals around the University of the Pacific area. I think they're going at a really great rate. I currently rent out a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom for $2,600. I have a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom renting out for $1,900. And so really good opportunities there for cash flow. For home flippers and agents, with the people who are graduating, the nurses who are graduating from these programs, there is potential increase in demand for graduates who have more disposable income. These are career trajectories, and nurses typically get paid well compared to your average blue-collar worker. There's going to be a demand for those people who are looking for housing, and so that may potentially improve on the ARV for a home flip that you're working on or property that you're looking to sell. If anyone has any questions, comments, feel free to hop off of mute and let me know what you think. Continuing on here, Stockton rezoning update. This is one of the things that has been happening over the past 1 or 2 years. This is going to take effect over time, but they are putting the final steps on Stockton rezoning. The whole goal here is to, with the population growth that has happened over the past decades, they want to update it so that it accurately reflects the communities. And there are impacts to us real estate investors here. So more specifically, you'll see a bullet point on the right. Civic use of property in regards to parks, right of way, and what I believe the most important, schools. So we need, if you are an investor in Stockton, you need to keep in mind what are the great schools, what are the underperforming schools, and how does the rezoning or how does the new boundaries potentially reflect where your property, your tenants, or the property that you buy, what school does that property belong to in the future? So I would say really plugged in here in terms of, you know, if you're on the border between underperforming and a great school, that might help you dictate where you invest your money and where you potentially find an A-class property or B-class property. And then for those who are interested in commercial properties, these are some properties that that came up. They are in the downtown area. So I just wanted to call this out. I know most of us are focused on residential, but the city often sends out these emails that reference commercial properties that are vacant and have an opportunity to be purchased. So just wanted to provide this here in case anybody is interested in a commercial opportunity. So these are in the downtown area. I believe these qualify as opportunity zones. I know that we've talked to some investors who are interested in potentially changing these from commercial to residential. And I think with some affordable housing initiatives by the city, there is opportunity here to make money. So I know it's for larger scale businesses, but just wanted to give a full disclosure here on opportunities as well. I thought this one is super interesting, especially for us real estate investors. American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. This was an initiative passed by the state and has allocated $78 million in stimulus funding to the city of Stockton. This one is currently being hashed out in city council, but there are implications for real estate investors. If we take a look on the left, I've highlighted the sections I think is super important. So we'll see of the 78 million, proportion of it will be going towards supporting economic stabilization for households and businesses. More than 12 million of the funding is allocated to housing and homelessness. And there's a focus on essential support to households. If I actually dug into the legislation, also I listened into the city council meetings, and on the right is actually the proposal on how they plan to divvy up some of the money. So you see, I have circled here in red, small business support, economic recovery, total of 5.15 million to $5 million allocated towards small business support and economic recovery. Item number 2, I think, is interesting if you are an investor in the downtown area. So there is an initiative to spend almost about $1 million towards uplifting the downtown, which is supporting the recovery of the downtown area. Again, we talked a little bit about downtown, but you can see that the city is very much focusing on growing that area. So hopefully by being in the path of progress in investing in downtown, you might be a part of some of the government supported initiatives there. The second box here under homelessness and housing is what I find to be super interesting for us investors. Item number 3, first-time home buyer down payment assistance. So the city is proposing between $2 to potentially $5 million to helping people make a down payment on a home to improve home ownership. This is a targeted program that is targeted towards people who are native Stocktonians who have stable income to support a monthly payment, but also are relatively low income. And this could potentially help increase the demand of purchasers of people on the lower end of the spectrum, on the lower end of the income spectrum to help acquire property. So I think this is a great opportunity if you're looking for a lower price flip, or if you have a rental that you want to potentially sell at the lower end, there's going to be city government-backed buyers out there who are looking for this, which may help improve the rate of return that you get on the property that you sell. More specifically, if we talk about homelessness and lower income initiatives, the biggest beneficiary to that $78 million plan is this Visionary Home Builders. They are a company here that has helped create a lot of communities, especially for low income people. And with that being said, I've been listening to the city council meetings. These guys are being lobbying the city council left and right to potentially be the builders for a lot of that money that is coming through. So I would keep an eye on these guys as an opportunity to, if you can figure out where they're building, you can probably see where property values are potentially increasing. So if you were to follow Visionary Home Builders and what their plans are going to be in the city of Stockton, could potentially be in the path of progress and kind of benefit from them investing in the community here. So just wanted to open discussion, kind of get people's thoughts. Those are kind of the major things happening in the city right now. Just wanted to hear what people thought, if people have heard similar things. What do people think of the downtown area as an investment? What other initiatives have you heard in the city? Kind of curious, just from an open group and open discussion, what people think.
I actually don't follow Stockton as a whole. I primarily just look in Lincoln Village and a little bit in the Pacific College area. But Lincoln Village has skyrocketed over, I would say, the last year and a half, 2 years, maybe a little more than that.
Right. Yeah, definitely Lincoln Village, Lincoln Unified. It will be interesting to see how the Lincoln Unified is potentially impacted by some of the city zoning. I think that one's always been super interesting to me because Lincoln Unified has always been a specific pocket within Stockton. It doesn't really go with Stockton Unified. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Continuing on here, you can't really talk about Stockton without talking about the Bay Area. A lot of price increases have been a result of migration, and in terms of some data that I've looked at, it does look like it doesn't appear to be changing anytime soon. So This is some data from Compass that I pulled here. You'll see on the chart on the left, median home sales prices, and then the chart on the right, average home dollar per square foot value. And overall, you can see here, no surprise to anybody, 2021 was record-breaking numbers for both and in terms of the Bay Area. So this here is the Oakland, Berkeley, Inner East Bay region. So the closest Bay Area region to Stockton. I thought this would be a good example of the overall Bay Area and what's kind of trickling and impacting Stockton. So we're seeing record-breaking numbers across the board here in terms of median home sales price and dollar per square foot here. We could see median home sales price in Q4 was 1.16 million, and the average house dollar per square foot was $739 per square foot, which is obviously a significant multiplier versus what we see in Stockton. So what does that tell us? That just tells us there's a lot of people getting priced out of these, and they're looking for potentially better value, especially with the Bay Area. We've seen growth in demand for housing stemmed also from significant growth in the stock market, in cash, in real estate, and that largely is concentrated in people in the more affluent income brackets. So we'll see here the growth in the S&P 500, quite significant. In addition, that's trickled down to U.S. household wealth. And with that being said, a lot of tech companies being in the Bay Area, that's ultimately impacted their purchasing power. So what does that mean? That means more disposable income to potentially use on real estate. How do we know that that's being used on real estate? We can see months of supply of inventory pretty much static for the past 5 years. Here we'll see month supply of inventory for the Inner East Bay region. It's been pretty static. This is kind of the story that everybody's been hearing, that there's not enough supply out there. And so with not enough supply and increased demand of people having higher purchasing power, kind of just makes sense that price values will rise. And where are we seeing that, what are we seeing that play out in? We see here housing inventory in the Stockton Lodi area over the past 4 years have been at an all-time low. In terms of housing inventory, you'll see here that it dipped in 2021 and it's still quite low. And how do we correlate the housing inventory to the growth of the Bay Area housing prices? We see the Bay Area migration, net domestic migration at an all-time high. When people leaving the Bay Area, leaving the Alameda County as an example, minus 17,000 in 2021. And with things not really changing the way they are currently, unless we see a huge supply of houses come onto the market, or unless we see the stock market paying for businesses significantly go out of business, there isn't much change in the trend and trajectory here. So continuing domestic out migration of the Bay Area and potentially continuing low income levels and in migration to the Stockton area. So that's overall my thoughts and what I've noticed from being plugged into the Stockton community. That's kind of where I see 2022 being. I'm sure all of you have been kind of keeping your ear to real estate and kind of have been hearing the same stories, but all indicators kind of give us an indication of that it'll potentially continue. So just wanted to have this as an open discussion for the group. We have a few minutes here. Would love to hear any questions regarding this presentation or any questions in general. We can get more specific about our own real estate experience as well, but wanted to potentially open this up for discussion. Heard some great discussions in the breakout groups. Would love to keep that conversation going. So at this point, feel free to come off of mute, ask any questions you want. Feel free to make any comments you want, and we're all an open book. Jason and Vineet are regulars here. I've learned a lot from their real estate investing experience, and I'm just hoping that this could be a resource for all of us to grow in real estate together.
I guess I have a question is if you had to pick an area of Stockton that you feel is going to have more growth in the future, do you, I mean, they're building, it's might be Hammer Lane out towards Lodi. There's new construction going on, and I can't think of what the name of the area is.
Sure.
It's off of 5.
Yeah. Over the 8 Mile area.
It might be.
Sure. I would say in terms of what I'm seeing, I would have to place my bets in actually South Stockton. So there's a lot of commercial growth happening around the Amazon warehouse and the Stockton airport. The Stockton airport has actually been investing a lot in terms of building more restaurants, more banks, more opportunities for commerce in close to the Airport Way, South Stockton area. And there's actually been a lot of new developments in that area as well. In addition to that, its proximity to Lathrop, which has just been growing rapidly, is really a big opportunity for all of the warehouses that have popped up in that area and people wanting to be relatively close to their warehouse fulfillment job. So I'm pretty optimistic about South Stockton, not necessarily Weston Ranch, but more kind of off El Dorado near Airport Way. And if you've ever driven by there, the lots on the properties that have been there are huge. The average lot there is about 10,000 square foot per property. So, people are getting a nice 1/4 of an acre backyard in their house. So I'm pretty bullish about that area. Downtown Stockton, I don't really see as growing. And in terms of areas that you're talking about, like Lincoln Village, as well as Caldwell Village, Spanos, I think they're already priced at a premium. So I do think South Stockton has been overlooked significantly.
Okay.
Vinny, what about you? Did you pull the trigger on anything in Stockton?
No, man, nothing in Stockton as of yet.
Yeah.
I'm working on something out of state right now, but I always keep looking. And when I look, the prices have gone up again. So I'm not sure. So how is the non-profit or something you were working with? Is it still in play? How is that going?
Yeah, no, it's been great so far. I was telling Jason about this, but I bought a 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom property for $400K, and they are renting it out for $3,200 a month. They moved in. Deposit was all secure. I think they're looking for more properties actually in the Sacramento area than they are in the Stockton area. So I'll be potentially looking at my next property in the Sacramento area. And Karen, to fill you in, 2 of the properties that I have in Stockton, I actually rent out to a nonprofit that helps people who are recently homeless, and they actually pay a premium in rent, which has helped me cash flow quite a bit. And they're based in Sacramento. They grew their branch or their operations to Stockton, and I've been really just trying to find properties to help rent out to them, which is a great cause, but also great cash flow.
That's great, man.
Vinny,
That's something.
What you got going on out of state?
Yeah, I was telling Jason, we were in the breakout there. So I have I'm looking at an 8-unit building in Boston. So,
great.
Yeah, one of my friends who lives there, he brought it to me. So we decided to go in together. So we are trying to get that. Let's see. Hopefully it works out. So.
That's great. Yeah, Karen was talking about Ohio. Was that right, Karen?
I like Idaho.
Or Idaho.
Yeah.
Idaho. I know Jason just walked up.
Idaho
really nice,
and maybe Tennessee.
Idaho and Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I'm potentially going to find a new market because Indiana has way too many investors over there. You were going to say something, Jason?
No. So you mentioned Idaho. I just know that market has appreciated. It's one of the top 5 markets that, like, it's up there with, I want to say, Austin and some of those Texas cities in regards to appreciation. And then it's like, I know a couple people that live out there, like some of my customers, and they were just kind of telling me like how Boise has grown, and then Idaho Falls, and there's another city out there in Idaho that everybody's kind of flocking to from across the United States. I know it's on the pricier side. From what they tell me, I haven't really studied the market versus what it was 2 years ago. They said like the property values have nearly doubled in that state. So, but I guess it's still going well because from what I hear, people are still flocking that way to Idaho. Very similar to Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I worked with some students who are based out of Idaho, and I guess it's becoming like the next tech place. I feel like a lot of students are going there for computer science and engineering, and they're getting jobs out there. I think Weight Watchers is based out there, and a lot of companies are trying to go digital, so that's like a big opportunity there for sure.
Karen, have you lived out there or know people there, or like did you start studying that market? Like, why Idaho?
Okay, so honestly, because I like living in the snow, and it's one of the 2 states that I look at is potentially moving to, and prices are pretty outrageous out there. But I don't know. I like it, and I just feel like it would be a good place for me to. I think I would fit in well there. Like I said, I
Karen,
love snow.
have you considered potentially making it an Airbnb and occupying it a few days of the year?
Only if I did McCall, Idaho. I really like McCall, Idaho. And I look at stuff there, but I can't afford it on my own there yet. That McCall's really expensive. They have a beautiful lake there. It's a big time summer destination. So I think it'd be an amazing Airbnb if I could do it.
That'd be great. Yeah, personally, I've been wanting to spend a lot of time in Tahoe, so I've been actually looking at opportunities for Airbnbs in Tahoe. So maybe I should be looking at Idaho instead of Tahoe.
Yeah, Tahoe is crazy prices, man.
Yeah.
It's not even kidding, right? Like it's just like ballooned in the last 2 years with this work from home and everything, right?
My biggest concern is though is just like during the summers and how dry it gets and all the wildfires. I think Tahoe is really close to getting on fire this past summer, so that's like my big fear for sure.
I was evacuated for 2.5 weeks.
Oh no!
So
you're in that area?
Yeah.
Oh,
From where I live, it takes me 45 minutes to downtown Sacramento, 45 minutes to South Lake Tahoe.
Oh, gotcha.
So I'm pretty much right in the middle. I go in for breakfast all the time.
All right. Well, we're at 8 o'clock. I'm happy to hang around at the end of it, at the end of this, and just chat more real estate. I did want to let you know, proof that we do in-person meetups every now and then. I think we meet over at Panera in Stockton. Karen, that might be quite a drive for you, but if you're ever in the area, feel free to let us know. We love to hang out. I've personally met with Jason and Benit in person at Panera's, and it was great. So be on the lookout for that. Also, I have an app. It's called the Rental Property Dashboard. It's built for people to be able to quickly analyze the profit on their rental property. Shameless plug there for my app. So overall, I just want to thank you all for coming. If you want to hang on at the end and just hang out and talk real estate, I'm happy to hang on for a few minutes and chat. I could share a little bit more about my investments or talk about yours. But other than that, thank you all for coming. I'm going to turn off the recording now and hang around, but thank you all for coming, and feel free to hang out or drop off.